Lila Bennett was only 29 when life whispered its cruel secret to her, that her days were numbered. Her heartbeat counted by a doctor's quiet voice and a sheet of paper she could barely hold without trembling. But even as tears welled in her tired eyes, her spirit didn't shatter. Instead, sitting alone in that sunlit hospital room, Lila made a promise to herself. If I can't have forever, I'll carve forever out of moments. She pulled out an old, battered notebook from her purse, and with shaking hands, wrote on the first page, 100 dates before goodbye. A few days later in a quiet city park, Lila sat on a weathered bench scribbling a list of silly, beautiful things she wanted to do before time slipped through her fingers. She watched children chase each other and old couples hold hands, pretending the world wasn't moving on without her. That's when Ethan Miller, 31, and unknowingly lost in his own quiet heartbreaks, sat down at the other end of the bench. Fate, reckless and kind for once, let the wind carry Lila's notebook to his feet. He picked it up and read the bold title out loud, a crooked smile spreading across his tired face. 100 dates before goodbye? That's quite a bucket list. She shrugged, half amused, half daring. It's my plan for the days I have left. Want to help me check them off? He laughed, thinking she was joking. But when his eyes met hers, so clear and unafraid, he knew she meant every word. And so, without realizing it, Ethan stepped into her fleeting forever. Their first date was a dance under streetlights at midnight, barefoot on wet pavement while the city slept around them. Then came silly art classes where they painted each other's faces more than the canvases. Feeding stray dogs behind an old cafe, getting soaked in sudden summer rain because umbrellas felt too grown up. Each date was small, sometimes childish, but for Lila, each was a secret rebellion against the ticking clock she refused to listen to. One night, under a sky spilling starlight onto the rooftop of an old building, Ethan watched Lila sketch his face in her notebook. Her hair was messy, her laughter echoing softly through the night. He realized he had fallen in love with a girl who was learning how to say goodbye one perfect day at a time. He whispered, almost afraid to break the moment, "Lila, why me?" She looked up, eyes reflecting 1,000 galaxies, and said softly, "Because you didn't look away when you saw my truth. Stayed." And in that rooftop silence he pressed a gentle kiss to her forehead, a promise held in trembling lips that he would stay until her last sunset. On their 100th date, Lila wore a simple dress and a tired but beautiful smile. They found an empty fairground at dawn, where colorful lights flickered awake for just the two of them. Ethan pushed her gently on the Ferris wheel, and her laughter rose with the sun. At the highest point, she rested her head on his shoulder and whispered, "Thank you for giving me 100 forevers, Ethan." He squeezed her hand, tears stinging his eyes, knowing he couldn't save her life but grateful she had saved his. When Lila's eyes closed for the last time, there was no sadness in her smile, only peace. Ethan would forever remember how she taught him the truth that too many people forget, that forever isn't measured in years, but in how deeply you love while you can. Sometimes goodbye comes too soon, but if you love with your whole heart every day, you leave no room for regret, only for echoes of laughter and the warmth of a hand that once held yours under the stars.